Welcome to The Thinking Shelf, the podcast where timeless philosophies meet modern living. Here we explore the ideas that have shaped human thought for centuries, diving into the profound wisdom of world philosophies like Zen, Buddhism, Advaita Vedanta, and more. Each episode is your invitation to pause, reflect, and rediscover life's deeper meaning, whether it's through ancient teachings, meditative practices, or thought-provoking discussions. Pull up a seat, settle your mind, and let's begin another conversation from the Thinking Shelf.
Welcome to our deep dive into, well, I'd say one of the most famous philosophical texts of all time,
Absolutely.
Plato's Symposium.
Yeah.
We're going to try to unpack some of the most thought-provoking ideas about love ever written down.
Okay.
And just see if, any
Right.
of these ancient Greek insights still resonate with us today.
I love that you call it unpacking.
Yeah.
It really is like opening a treasure chest
Yeah,
full of different perspectives.
exactly. And these aren't just random opinions.
Right.
This is a glimpse into how some of the greatest minds of ancient Greece
Yeah.
viewed love.
Absolutely.
Our source material is a special academic edition of the Symposium,
Okay.
which is helpful because, to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
this dialogue is a bit of a puzzle box.
It really is. It's
It-
not just a straightforward philosophical debate.
Right.
We're actually getting this whole conversation secondhand.
Oh.
Like we're eavesdropping on a story being told.
Okay, so before we even get to the love part,
Right.
can you explain that a bit?
Yeah.
Why all the layers of storytelling?
Yeah.
It's like a game of philosophical telephone, right?
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Our narrator is actually a guy named Apollodorus,
Okay.
who is telling someone else about a wild party he heard about
Oh, wow.
from another guest,
Okay.
Aristodemus.
Okay.
So we're getting Aristodemus's version
Wow.
of what different people said at this party,
Okay.
which was hosted by a playwright named Agathon.
Now, I'm picturing like a group chat
Uh-huh.
where everyone is arguing about love,
Yeah.
and then someone takes screenshots to share with their friends later.
Right, right.
But hold on, why
Mhm.
was this party even happening? And
Yeah.
why were they debating love instead of,
Yeah.
dancing and having fun?
Well, this wasn't just any party.
Right.
Agathon was a big deal in Athens.
You think?
He just won a prestigious playwriting competition
Okay.
and decided to throw a lavish celebration.
Right.
But instead of the usual revelry, the guests decided to entertain themselves with a battle of wits.
Oh, wow.
A series of speeches
Yeah.
dedicated to Eros,
Yeah.
the Greek god of love.
That definitely makes it a memorable party.
He does.
So let's hear what these brilliant minds had to say.
Okay.
Who's up first to offer their take on love?
First up is Phaedrus.
Okay.
And he doesn't hold back. He
Yeah.
goes straight for the jugular, praising Eros as the oldest
Mm-hmm.
and most awesome of all the gods.
Oh.
He even name drops famous poets like Hesiod and Parmenides
Oh,
to
wow.
back up his claims.
So right off the bat, he's setting a high bar.
He is.
But what's his argument? What makes Eros so powerful in his view?
Phaedrus believes love has this incredible power to inspire courage
Okay.
and self-sacrifice in humans.
Oh, wow.
He uses the classic example of Achilles and Patroclus to illustrate his point.
Right.
Remember, Achilles was this legendary warrior
Mhm.
who chose death to avenge Patroclus's death.
Wow. So for Phaedrus, love is this driving force
It is.
behind the most heroic actions.
Yeah.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
He even suggests that the gods are actually jealous
Right.
of the power love gives to humans.
That's right.
It's like he's saying that love makes us even greater than the gods in some ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a bold statement that really sets the stage for the rest of the dialogue.
Yep.
He's basically saying love is this untamable,
Yeah.
primordial force
Right.
that even the gods can't control.
That's quite a powerful opening.
It is.
I'm already hooked,
Good.
but I'm sure there are other perspectives waiting to be unpacked.
Which there are.
Who steps up next to challenge Phaedrus's view of love?
Next we have Pausanias,
Okay.
who takes a more nuanced approach.
Okay.
He argues that there are actually two different kinds of love,
Okay.
each associated with a different aspect of Aphrodite,
Okay.
the Greek goddess of love and beauty.
Ooh, two kinds of love.
That's right.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Okay.
What are these two loves, and how do they differ?
So the first kind is connected to Aphrodite Pandemos,
Okay.
and it represents what we might call common or earthly love,
Right.
the kind focused on physical pleasure and gratification.
Okay, so that's the kind of love
Right.
most songs and movies seem to focus on.
Exactly.
The passionate, intense kind.
Yeah.
But what about the other kind?
The second kind is associated with Aphrodite Urania,
Okay.
the celestial Aphrodite.
Okay.
It's a more elevated,
Yeah.
even spiritual form of love,
Right.
focused on pursuing virtue,
Yeah.
knowledge,
Mhm.
and the betterment of the soul.
Okay.
Pausanias argues that this heavenly love is far superior to the earthly kind.
So it's not just about who you love,
Right.
but also why you love them.
That's exactly right.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's about the motivation behind the love.
Yeah.
But here's where things get a bit tricky for us modern folks.
Okay.
Pausanias, being a man of his time,
Right.
uses this distinction to defend pederasty, which was a socially accepted practice in ancient Athens,
Right.
involving relationships between adult men and adolescent boys.
That's definitely a cultural difference that's hard to reconcile
It is.
with our modern sensibilities.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that ideas about love and relationships can change drastically over
Yeah.
time.
Absolutely.
But it also raises some interesting questions about how we define appropriate expressions of love,
Yeah.
even within our own cultural context.
Yeah.
So we've had love as a powerful force for good. Love is a duality of earthly and heavenly desires.
Right.
And now I'm curious, who's next to offer their take on this multifaceted emotion?
The next speaker to step up is Eryximachus,
Oh,
the doctor of the group.
okay, the doc.
And as you might expect,
Yeah.
he brings a very different perspective,
Okay.
a more analytical,
Yeah.
even scientific one.
Dr. Eryximachus, how do you diagnose this thing called love?
Eryximachus expands the concept of love beyond just human relationships. He sees it as a fundamental force operating throughout the cosmos,
Wow.
influencing everything from music and medicine
Uh-huh.
to agriculture and astronomy.
Now that's thinking big.
He does.
So love isn't just a human emotion, it's like a law of nature.
Exactly. It's a universal principle.
Wow.
And he uses a medical analogy to explain his point, saying that just like the elements in the body need to be balanced for health,
Mm-hmm.
love needs to be in harmony to be productive and beneficial.
So too much or too little love can be a bad thing.
That's right.
It's about finding the right balance.
Precisely.
Right.
He sees excess in any form as detrimental to love.
Okay.
Too much passion can lead to recklessness,
Mm-hmm.
while too much restraint can stifle growth.
Right.
It's all about finding that sweet spot.
I'm starting to see a pattern here.
Okay.
Each speaker is adding another layer to our understanding of love,
Yeah.
revealing its complexities.
You're catching on,
Okay.
and it's not over yet. Before we hear the next speech,
Yeah.
we've got a little bit of comic relief coming our way.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I was wondering when we'd get a break from all this serious philosophizing.
Yeah. Yeah.
How?
What happens? Well, apparently Aristophanes, the comic playwright, is up next.
Okay.
But he starts getting the hiccups.
Oh, no, poor guy.
I know, right?
I've been there.
Yeah.
It's hard to be profound when you're battling the hiccups.
Right.
Yeah.
And the source material makes it clear this was a pretty severe case.
Okay.
Eryximachus,
Okay.
always the doctor,
Right.
suggests they have a little chat
Okay.
while they wait for Aristophanes to recover.
Okay, so after all that talk of love as a powerful force, as a dual nature,
Yeah.
and as a universal principle,
Yeah.
I'm dying to hear what the comedian has to say.
All right.
I bet he's going to turn everything upside down.
You won't be disappointed.
Okay.
Aristophanes brings a healthy dose of humor and myth to the discussion. And just wait until you hear his theory
Okay.
about why we experience love in the first place. All right, so picture this. Aristophanes finally recovered from his hiccup attack,
Okay.
steps up to give his speech,
Okay.
and what he presents is not just a theory of love,
Right.
but a full-blown creation myth.
Okay.
The kind of story that would have had the ancient Greeks on the edge of their seats.
Okay, I'm picturing those epic Greek vases
Yes.
with all the intricate storytelling scenes.
Uh-huh.
What kind of myth did Aristophanes weave?
You're ready for this. He says humans weren't always like we are now.
Okay.
Originally, we were these spherical beings,
Okay.
each with 4 legs, 4 arms, and 2 faces.
Wait, 4 legs and 2 faces?
Yeah.
That sounds more like a creature from a fantasy novel than our ancient ancestors.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But it gets even wilder.
Okay.
These spherical humans were super powerful,
Okay.
almost like demigods.
Yeah.
And they actually threatened the power of the Olympian gods.
Okay. I can see where this is going.
Yeah.
The gods weren't too happy about sharing their power, were they?
Not one bit.
Okay.
Zeus, the king of the gods,
Mm-hmm.
came up with a solution. He split each of these spherical beings in 2,
Oh, wow.
creating the humans we know today.
Okay.
And according to Aristophanes,
Yeah.
That's why we feel so incomplete,
Well,
so driven to find our other half.
Right.
We're literally longing to reunite with the part of ourselves that was severed way back when.
That's such a creative and kind of heartbreaking
It is.
explanation for why we crave connection.
Right.
We're all just walking around searching for our missing piece,
Yes.
hoping to become whole again.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like a cosmic puzzle where
Yeah.
we're all searching for our perfect fit.
Yeah.
But remember, this is Aristophanes we're talking about,
Yeah.
the master of comedy.
Right.
So while this myth is profound, it's also poking fun at our human tendency to obsess over finding the one.
So we've heard love described as a source of heroism,
Yeah.
as a dualistic force, as a cosmic principle,
Yes.
and now a quest to find our missing body part.
Right.
Plato's really giving us a banquet of ideas here.
He is.
Who's next to add their flavor to this philosophical feast?
Next up is our gracious host,
Okay.
Agathon himself.
Okay.
And as a tragic poet,
Right.
his speech is unsurprisingly beautiful,
Okay.
poetic, and maybe a bit more sentimental than the previous ones.
Oh, interesting. So after all those philosophical and mythological takes on love, we're shifting to a more artistic perspective.
Precisely.
Okay.
Agathon delivers this highly stylized encomium,
Okay.
a speech of praise dedicated to Eros.
Okay.
He describes Eros as the youngest, most beautiful,
Okay.
and most virtuous of all the gods.
Wow.
He attributes qualities like justice, moderation, courage, and wisdom to Eros, basically saying love makes us better people.
So it's a bit of a love conquers all and love will make you a better person argument.
Right.
It's definitely a common theme in art and literature,
It is.
even today.
Yes.
But I'm also sensing a bit of irony here.
Okay.
Agathon, the guy who's throwing this extravagant party,
Yeah.
is praising moderation and virtue.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the beauty of Plato's writing.
Right.
There are all these layers of meaning and subtle commentary woven into the dialogue.
Yeah.
On the one hand, Agathon is praising these noble ideals of love.
Right.
But on the other hand, he's indulging in all sorts of earthly pleasures.
Right. It makes you wonder if he's being sincere
Yeah.
or if there's a hint of self-mockery in his speech.
Exactly.
It definitely adds another dimension to the discussion.
It does.
And it makes me think about how we often idealize love in art, even when our own lives might not live up to those romantic ideals.
That's a great point. It highlights the tension
Right.
between our aspirations and our realities,
Right.
between how we think love should be
Yeah.
and how it actually plays out in the messiness of human experience.
Speaking of messy human experiences,
Yeah.
there's one key player who's been noticeably absent from this philosophical debate.
Okay.
The man himself, Socrates.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling he's been listening intently,
Yeah.
taking mental notes,
Right.
and getting ready to drop some serious wisdom bombs.
You know, Socrates, he never misses an opportunity to challenge conventional wisdom and make people think a little deeper.
Right.
And his speech in the Symposium is no exception.
Okay.
In fact, he completely turns the whole conversation on its head.
Okay. I am officially intrigued.
He did.
After all these eloquent speeches praising Eros,
Yeah.
what kind of curveball does Socrates throw our way?
Well, instead of launching into his own grand theory of love,
Yeah.
he recounts a conversation he once had
Okay.
with a wise woman named Diotima.
Okay.
And according to Diotima, love isn't a god at all.
Plot twist.
I know, right?
I knew Socrates was going to shake things up.
Yeah.
So if love isn't this divine being, then what is it in Diotima's view?
Diotima describes love as a demon,
Okay.
which in ancient Greek thought wasn't an evil spirit like we might think of today.
Right.
It was more like a mediating spirit,
Okay.
something that exists between the mortal realm and the immortal realm.
Okay. I'm going to need a little more explanation here.
Okay.
What does it mean for love to be this mediating spirit?
Essentially, Diotima is saying that love is this powerful force that drives us towards beauty and goodness, but it's not about possessing these things.
Okay.
It's about a continual striving for them.
Right.
It's like this upward journey, ascending from the physical beauty we see in the world to the beauty of the soul.
Okay.
And ultimately to the contemplation of something called the form of beauty.
The form of beauty.
Yes.
Okay, now you've officially lost me.
Okay.
What is that exactly?
This is where Plato's philosophy gets really interesting and maybe a little abstract. The form of beauty in Plato's thinking is this perfect, eternal, unchanging essence of beauty that exists beyond the physical world.
So it's like the ultimate ideal of beauty.
Yes.
The blueprint from which all earthly beauty is derived.
Exactly.
Okay.
And Diotima suggests that love is what drives us to seek out this ultimate beauty.
Okay.
This truth that lies beyond the fleeting and imperfect beauty we experience in our everyday lives.
So it's not about finding a beautiful person or object and holding on to it.
No.
It's about this constant striving.
That's right.
This yearning for something more.
Precisely.
Okay.
It's about personal growth, about expanding our understanding of what's truly beautiful and good.
Okay.
And this is where Diotima's view of love starts to resonate with a modern audience.
Right.
Think about all those self-help books and podcasts that encourage us to become our best selves, to seek out deeper meaning in life.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like this ancient Greek philosopher is giving us a blueprint for self-improvement.
Yes.
Centuries before self-help was even a thing.
That's right.
It's about constantly striving for something greater than ourselves.
Exactly.
This is definitely making me rethink my whole approach to love.
Okay.
It's not just about finding the one or achieving some perfect state of bliss.
Yeah.
It's about this constant evolution, this pursuit of something greater than ourselves.
That's a powerful insight.
Right.
And it's one that has resonated with thinkers and artists for centuries.
Right.
But our deep dive isn't over yet.
Okay.
There's one more character who crashes the party.
Right.
And he adds a whole other dimension to the conversation.
Okay.
Alcibiades.
Okay, I am ready for another plot twist.
Okay.
Who is Alcibiades?
All right, so Alcibiades was this young, charismatic politician known for his, shall we say, passionate nature.
Okay.
And he arrives at the party in a rather unconventional state.
Okay, now I'm really curious.
Right.
Paint me a picture.
Okay.
What does this grand entrance look like?
Picture this. The party is in full swing. Everyone's deep in philosophical debate.
Okay.
When suddenly the doors burst open.
Okay.
And in walks Alcibiades.
Okay.
A little worse for wear after a night of drinking, wearing a crown of ivy and violets.
Oh, wow.
And demanding to give a speech.
Oh, my. That's quite the entrance.
It is.
Sounds like he's ready to steal the show.
Yeah.
But what does he have to say after all those eloquent speeches about love?
Here's the twist.
Okay.
Instead of praising Eros, he launches into a passionate encomium, a speech of praise dedicated to none other than Socrates himself.
Whoa, that's unexpected.
It is.
Sensing some complicated feelings between these two. Is he admiring Socrates?
Yeah.
Mocking him?
Yeah.
Or is there something more going on?
It's a complex mix of admiration, frustration, and maybe even a bit of unrequited love.
Okay.
Alcibiades is clearly captivated by Socrates' wisdom and self-control, but he's also frustrated by Socrates' resistance to his advances.
Wow.
He even compares Socrates to a Silenus figure.
Okay.
Those mythical creatures who were ugly on the outside, but supposedly concealed a godlike beauty within.
The classic beauty is on the inside trope, but with a philosophical twist.
Right.
What is it about Socrates that draws Alcibiades in so strongly?
Alcibiades is drawn to Socrates' unique combination of intellectual depth and personal magnetism.
Okay.
Remember, Socrates was famous for his challenging questions, his unconventional lifestyle, and his ability to inspire deep thought in others.
So after all those speeches, idealizing Eros, Alcibiades comes in and says, nope, true love isn't about a god.
Right.
It's about this guy right here.
That's right.
Socrates.
Yes.
That's a bold statement.
It is.
And it brings us to a really important point about this symposium.
Okay.
It's not just about defining love.
Right.
It's about showing us the many ways love can manifest in our lives.
That's right.
We've seen love as a source of heroic deeds, as a duality, as a cosmic force, as a quest for completion, as a path to virtue, and now as a profound intellectual and emotional connection between two very different individuals.
That's right.
I'm starting to see why this one dialogue has captured imaginations for centuries.
Yeah.
It's like a philosophical kaleidoscope.
It is.
With each turn revealing a new facet of love.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And it's a kaleidoscope that we can keep turning, finding new insights and connections each time we revisit it.
Right.
Before we send our listener off on their own philosophical explorations, let's take a moment to synthesize what we've learned from these diverse perspectives.
Yes. Let's try to distill some wisdom
from this ancient Greek party.
Okay.
What are some key takeaways that we can carry with us as we navigate the complexities of love in our own lives?
Well, one thing that really stood out to me is this idea that love isn't static.
Okay.
It's a dynamic process.
Okay.
A journey of growth and transformation.
Okay.
Both for the individual and for the relationship itself.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's not about finding that perfect, unchanging love.
Right.
It's about embracing the messiness, the challenges, and the constant evolution that comes with truly connecting with another person.
Exactly.
And it's a journey that requires both passion and reason.
That's right.
It's not about choosing one over the other, but finding a balance between those two forces.
Absolutely.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
We need that initial spark of attraction, that emotional pull, but we also need the wisdom and discernment to make choices that nourish the relationship
in the long run.
Absolutely.
Another important takeaway for me is the idea that love can be expressed in so many different ways.
Yes.
It's not just about romantic love.
Right.
It's about friendship, family, community, even the love of knowledge and truth.
That's right.
Like we see with Socrates and Alcibiades.
That's so liberating.
Right.
Yeah.
Expanding our definition of love like that allows us to appreciate the many forms of connection and meaning we experience throughout our lives.
And finally, I think the symposium challenges us to be more intentional about the kind of love we want to cultivate in our own lives. It's not just about falling in love. It's about choosing to love wisely, bravely, and authentically.
I love that. Yeah. It puts the power back in our hands. We get to define what love means for us and then actively cultivate those relationships that bring meaning and fulfillment to our lives.
Yeah.
It really is empowering to think of ourselves as active participants.
It is.
In shaping the landscape of love in our lives.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to pose a final question, something for you, dear listener, to ponder as you continue your own journey through the world of love and relationships.
Right.
So throughout the symposium, we've seen these different characters grappling with the relationship between the physical and intellectual aspects of love.
Right.
Some, like Pausanias, see a clear hierarchy, while others, like Aristophanes, focus on the longing for completion, for that perfect union of body and soul.
That's right.
It's a tension that's as old as time itself.
It is.
Passion versus reason, desire versus virtue.
Right.
Even today, we're still trying to figure out how to balance those two sides of ourselves.
Absolutely.
So my question for you, dear listener, is this. How do you define the relationship between the physical and intellectual aspects of love in your life?
Yeah.
Is it about finding a balance? Is it about prioritizing one over the other?
Right.
Or is it something else entirely?
That's such a great question.
Yeah.
And it's one that doesn't have a single right answer.
Right.
It's an invitation for self-reflection.
Right.
For examining our own experiences and beliefs about love.
We've thrown a lot of philosophical concepts your way today.
We have.
But ultimately, it's up to each individual to decide what resonates with them and how they want to apply these ancient insights to their own lives.
That's what makes philosophy so fascinating.
Yeah.
You can take these ideas and see how they work for you.
Right.
It's like Plato is giving us a toolkit for thinking about love, but he's leaving it up to us to build something meaningful with those tools.
And that's what makes the symposium such a timeless and enduring work.
It is.
It's a text that continues to spark conversations and challenge our assumptions.
For sure.
Even after all these centuries.
Absolutely.
So we hope this deep dive has provided you with some new lenses through which to view the world of love and maybe even inspired you to ask some tough questions of yourself and those around you.
I second that.
Keep those philosophical gears turning, dear listener.
Yes.
And never stop exploring the multifaceted world of love.
That's right.
In all its messy, beautiful, and endlessly fascinating glory.
Until our next deep dive, happy philosophizing.
Absolutely.
Thanks for tuning in to The Thinking Shelf. We hope today's episode gave you some valuable insights that can help you grow. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Until next time, stay focused, stay intentional, and keep thinking deeply